Yes, it's me, Mike Stone, and this is the Backseat Driver Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Gas Shocks, home of the 116 Trophy and 120 Coupe Cup. Hoddy Tyres, find the best tyres for your vehicle, supplying all the top brands to keep you covered in every season and every condition. Tarox Brakes, the art of slowing down, precision engineered in Italy for ultimate performance, and Specialised Automotive Services, specialists in high-quality automotive maintenance and classic car restoration. You can find the details of all our proud sponsors for this episode in the show notes. I'd like to introduce to the backseat driver, Helen Helly Blake, racing driver, Autograss racer, champion racer. Helly or Helen, which do you prefer?
Just Helen. Helly is a nickname I was given when I was little.
Right.
So I just kept it on.
Helen, welcome to the Backseat Driver.
Thank you.
How did all this come about? Because it's an unusual form of racing. I mean, is racing part of the family history?
It isn't, no. I'm actually from an equestrian background. Never had my own, but I've always ridden horses since I was like 4.
Yeah.
But my dad is a keen petrol head, and although he never actually bought anything fancy when we were growing up, he was always in the garage tinkering, and I used to like joining him.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I was always obsessed with toy cars. I had toy cars when I was little. As you know, I did have dolls as well, but I had toy cars and I had toy trains, so a bit of a tomboy.
Yeah.
And I remember counting down the days that I could drive from age 14 onwards. I was desperate. I couldn't wait. So I used to sit in the car park of my mum's Vauxhall Cavalier doing the gear changes, just sat there pretending I was driving.
Yeah. Did you get to drive before you were old enough? I mean, I was in the fortunate position that I grew up in the countryside, and you got shoveled behind the wheel of Land Rovers, etc., very early on.
No, sadly not. That was the dream. The other thing I got to drive was those little motorboats that you could go in on a lake, or the go-karts, and that was it. That was the only driving experience I had. Yeah.
So how did the racing come about? Because, I mean, it's like you said, you're in the garage with your dad. I conclude you learnt mechanicking first.
Well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? But no, sadly, I didn't learn anything. I just liked to be in the garage watching Dad and helping out where I could. But I wasn't very good at the learning part of it. Nothing stayed in my head. And that's continued on into adult life, sadly. But I do try. But yeah, I got into racing because my fellow at the time was actually the chairman of the race club, and he bought me my first race car. And he basically said, "Here, drive this." And I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Thank you, but what do I do? So he was like, right, well, this is what you do. It was a Fiat Punto shell with a Vauxhall red top in it, and it was called a Class 6 in Autograss.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome and terrifying in equal measure. I mean, you know, it had been the dream because I had seen Autograss once before in my life.
Yeah.
Quite a few years previous to that. And I went home from that. I was like, I'm going to turn my little Corsa, that was my first ever car, into a race car.
Yeah.
But then they're like, oh, you need a mechanic, and you need this. So I'm like, oh, gosh, isn't it going to happen? You know, I'm from Leeds, and nothing happens in Leeds. Nobody's motorsport. Well, I didn't know anyone in motorsport. So I just sort of shoved it on the road, became a biker instead, got my frills that way.
Yeah.
And then, years later, I moved up to North Yorkshire. I met someone who was the chairman of the club, and he got me into it. And then when we ended things, I was like, well, why should I stop racing just because we're not together anymore?
Yeah.
So I went out, and I don't know how I managed it. They must have recognised the skills. I'm joking. I got sponsored.
Yeah.
Very, very lucky to get sponsored. So off I went. I did my trailer test when you still needed to do that. I got my little van, and I used to drive myself all over the country on my own. I'm very proud of that. And go racing on my own.
Yeah.
And for 4 years, that was my life. I just went racing on my own, single female on their own, doing the racing. I was like, check me out. Woo, master different women everywhere, you know. and that's how it all began, really. And the more I travelled, the more tracks I went to, the more experience I got. And then I actually started doing quite well.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you are a championship winning racer, aren't you?
I am. I'm a 2-time UK Series ladies champion in ladies stock catch, and I'm also the 2023, I was the overall champion out of all the classes of all the ladies.
Yeah.
And I did that all by myself, and I was so proud of that.
I mean, I conclude you're racing against other ladies all the time, are you?
Yes. Now, I have raced with men. When there's no ladies to race with, they will let me go out with the men, but I do have a ladies' licence.
Yeah.
And I would just like to add, when I race with them, I whip their asses. I was walking around the pits like, yeah, baby.
I mean, do the men race the same type of cars, or are those little Citroen unique to the ladies?
No, so our classes are the same, and the reason why we do have split ladies and men is so we can advertise it as a family sport, so that if you have a mum, a dad and a kid,
yeah,
the mum can race the same, so if it's a class 1, which is like a little 1 litre, the mum can race,
yeah,
the man can race, and the kid can race if the kid is 10 years old or older.
Yeah.
So it's 10 to 16. So it is classed as a family sport, and that's why we have split. Now, the ladies are allowed to get a man's licence and race with the men. I just choose not to because I choose life. No, what it is I actually can't afford to do the repairs because I know it sounds sexist, but the men are just too rough.
Yeah.
And especially if there's a lady in the mix, that they're not going to be very happy. And you'll be like a sitting duck out there. If it's a quiet meet and there's only a few, I'll go and join them.
Yeah.
If there's no ladies to race with. But I much prefer to race with the ladies because, we have the trackside banter. There aren't that many of us, and we're all good friends, and it's just really nice. But I think the men just take it like a bit too seriously and get a bit rough, and I just can't afford the panel damage, really.
I mean, I conclude it's not like stock cars where you are deliberately nudging one another, is it? I conclude it's technically a non-contact. Well, all motorsport theoretically is non-contact, apart from stock cars. Is it meant to be non-contact?
It is meant to be non-contact. Like you said, it does happen. We are racing on dirt, so contact does happen, accidents happen, but with the men, there is definitely tactical ramming going on because you can see it. Yeah. And I don't want to be a part of that.
Now, the circuits, I mean, are they permanent circuits or are they temporary circuits?
They're permanent as far as I'm aware. I mean, they're always there. It's just a lot of tracks do actually lose that land because the farmers own it.
Right.
And if farmers get offered a better deal, like to build it or something, then some tracks do... We do lose some tracks, sadly, but as far as I'm aware, the ones that are still out there are available.
Yeah.
They're always there, but you can only use them on club mates. And what's interesting about our sport is there's no practice whatsoever.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so you can't just go and borrow a track.
Yeah.
So when it's your first time, you're literally thrown in the deep end and you're racing. There is no practice.
Right. So by virtue of that, I conclude there's no qualifying, or is there qualifying?
There's qualifying for the finals if there's more than 8 of you.
Yeah.
So if there's, say there's like 16 cars in your class.
Yeah.
And that means there's 2 heats here, and it's the top 8 that go to the final.
Right.
And that all goes on points.
Yeah. And how many laps is a race?
It depends on where you are and how busy it is. So I've just come back from the UK series at round 4, which is a big 2-day meet. And we started at 5.5 laps, and I think we ended at 5.5 laps because they got through. They did really well because they were racing against the weather, which was coming in.
Yeah.
But then a final is more, so a final is about 6 laps, maybe more.
Yeah.
Maybe it was more because we had 5.5 laps. I actually can't remember.
Yeah.
But then I went into a Champ of Champs because I won the final. Champ of Champs race is 10 laps, and it's exhausting.
Yeah. And roughly how long is a lap in distance? Are they all roughly the same, or do they vary? I mean, you race a car on the circuit, and circuits are different lengths. Is it the same on your circuits?
Most circuits are similar in size. I do know that some tracks some tracks vary because of the field that they're in. So the one that I just raced out this weekend was a shorter track, and that means we have to have a different wheel size. We don't have to, but I choose to because apparently it makes the gearing better. Yeah. Now, I do feel like I know what I'm talking about. I actually don't. I'm just relaying what people have told me over the years. So a shorter track, I go up a size in wheel. That's all I know. Yeah. And a long track, I go down a size in wheel. But yeah, so they do vary, but I think they try to keep it quite similar. Yeah.
Now, looking at the car, because you are a star of YouTube, I mean, the cars are completely stripped out, aren't they?
Yes, they are. There's nothing in there except for a metal seat, a roll cage. I don't have any dials. The amount of people that say how fast you go, like, no idea.
Yeah.
The only thing I've got in there is a switch to turn on the ignition, a button to press start, and a switch for the fan, and that is all I have in there.
Right. And what sort of modifications have been done to the engine?
Nothing.
Oh.
The other thing, because it's stock, so my class is stock hatch. It's got to be stock, completely standard. The only modifications you are allowed is you're allowed to skim the head to a certain measurement. Please don't ask me what that is, because I don't know. You're allowed to modify the air filter, and you are allowed to change the suspension, and that is probably about it. Right,
because looking at the air filter, you're in very dusty conditions. Do you put a better one on, a bigger one on, or do you alter where it sucks air from? And what do you do to try and cut down on the amount of dust and dirt that the air filter and the engine will suck in?
Well, there's a lot of cleaning involved. I've recently changed my air filter. I think I might have borrowed it off my fellas. I'm not entirely sure, but all of a sudden there's a bigger one. I was like, "Ooh, that's nice," and then it disappeared. It went on his car again. I was like, "Oh, so we're sharing it, are we?" So that's like a big spongy one. Now the air filter that I've always had, before he very kindly lent me his, was a K&N air filter.
Yeah.
It's like a cone one, and I was just used to spray it with it, so we clean it and then spray it with the oil. And then it'd get all the dust, and then you'd clean it again. So it's like a vicious cycle of cleaning.
Yeah.
But I don't know much about the sponge yet. It doesn't look very dusty to me.
Right. I mean, how often do you have to service these engines, or how long does an engine last? Because you'll be running in quite low gears at quite high revs, won't you?
Yeah, so we race probably top revs. We set off in first, get up to the limiter or just before if you can. Change in second, and then you're racing in second the rest of the time. We are on the limiter a lot, so when we race around, you can hear us go, bah, 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 bah. And it is really hard to not. It's really hard to leave your foot on the floor when you can hear it go, bah, 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 and you think, oh, I know I shouldn't crucify the engine, but I don't want to lift off because I'm going to lose speed and then someone will overtake me. So you literally just sat there going, bah, bah, bah. You know you're not getting any more power out of it.
Yeah.
But you just can't help it until you're ready to brake to go around the corner.
So there's no way you'll ever actually take third gear then?
No, I think the only people that do that are the people in Class 1 or junior saloons.
Yeah.
But I've completely forgotten what you asked me.
We were talking about how much... Basically, the engines. I mean, the engines will need servicing quite a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so when I raced on my own, I never serviced my engine. And all I did was clean it in between racing because I was a bit rubbish. I just packed it up and left it there and went, ooh, and I did really well with that. Ever since meeting my fella, who I've introduced to racing,
yeah,
he's got really keen on the spannering side of things. He races too, but he's like really helping me out. And then a lot of people very kindly offer to help me out as well, and they've done like bits to it and stuff. But all I can say is for the 4 years that I raced on my own, I did naff all with my engine and still did well.
So, I mean, I can't, even down to like, it'll need regular oil changes. Do you not bother with that?
I didn't bother with that. The only time it got stuff done is if it did well at the Nationals or the UK Series, it got stripped at the end of the year to get measured.
Yeah.
And then you get your engine back in a box, and I'd be like, hi, and sent it to either my sponsors at the time or somebody who knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then they'd rebuild it. So I never actually saw the maintenance side of it. I was very lucky that people were keen to help me out. So if it did get serviced, I never saw it. I'm not a ride and drive, but I sound like it.
So, and I mean, tyres, are you on standard road tyres on these?
No, some classes have just gone on to control tyres, which are like snow tyres.
Oh, yeah.
Tyres. We're currently not. We're allowed to have our Max Sport tyres, which is like an off-road tyre. So that's what we use. And if they do move us on to control tyre, I will probably cry.
How come?
Because, we have to get track watering because of the dust.
Yeah.
And because we have front-wheel drive class and we have rear-wheel drive classes, they tend to get the water bowser out in front of the front-wheel drive classes. And they're quite keen on doing it in front of ladies' stock hatch. So if they put us on control tyre, it'll just be total carnage.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, as I said, I watched, I mean... Is there much in the way of opposite lock and handbrake, or do you just steer them? What is the noble art of getting a car round one of these little tracks?
We just steer it. Like, I don't use my handbrake. The other thing I use my handbrake for is the start line, because if you roll forward, you get black flag.
Yeah.
So I start on the handbrake, and that's it. That's the other time I use the handbrake. You just steer, so you sort of stamp on the brake, send it flying round, and then just sort of mess around with your revs until you've got round the corner and then flat out again. Yeah. That's what I do. Other people might be different, but that's just what I do.
Right. Now, as I said, you can watch you work for a motorbike garage, don't you?
Yeah, classic cars and motorbikes.
Yeah.
Frank's Motorcycles and Frank's Motor Company in Colchester.
And you are a bit of a star of their YouTube channel, aren't you?
Yeah, that all happened by complete accident. I'm so happy about it. So what happened was, me and my fella were actually looking for a wedding venue, and somebody said to us the night before, "Have you heard of Frank's?" And we went, "No," because we've just moved down here from Yorkshire, in case you can't tell by the accent. And we're like, right, well, let's put our wedding venue looking on hold, and let's go see this place for classic cars and motorbikes. So off we went, and we met the owner, John. And I was, like, telling him the story. I do racing. We're all petrol heads. We love this. But, just chatting about it. I'm a biker as well. And then I dropped it in because I knew my summer job was coming to an end. I said, I don't suppose you're looking for anyone to, like, create any content for you and advertise your bikes and cars for sale, because that's, like, my dream. Yeah. And nobody's ever going to take me on because all I've ever done is childcare all my life. And he went, to be fair, we get asked that all the time, but it's always people that know what they're doing. We don't want anyone that knows what we're doing. We want someone with raw passion, and I can see that in you. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? So next thing you know, I've gone for this informal interview, and then I'm hired. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm loving it. And I make weekly behind the scenes like episodes. Yeah. We're on episode 11 now, which you've seen, haven't you? And then on top of that, I make all the adverts, all the walk-arounds, I do reviews, I get to ride the bikes and drive the cars. It's just the absolute dream job for a petrol head. Yeah.
I mean, what age of classic cars, or is it absolutely any classic car?
It's any classic. We have all sorts of random stuff in there, and it's just gorgeous. The showroom it's like walking into heaven. Yeah. So the first time I walked in there, I was blown away. So I walked into the motorbike showroom first, and that's got classics, collectibles, like one of one available, like this Triumph Fruction now, which is absolutely stunning, and all the way up to semi-modern bikes. Like, we've got a nice GSX 1400 in there. We've got a GS, it's got all the bits, like thousands spent on all these extra bits. Yeah. We've got the the Panigale, the Ducati Panigale. So we've got loads of modern, but lots of rare and collectibles and classics as well. And then over to the car showroom, there's more bikes up there as well. And then there's loads of classics. So we've got something from like the 1930s all the way up to what we've got, a Roadrunner, like a big, massive American Roadrunner. Yeah. What else have we got up there? We've got Jaguar Mark IIs, not an X-Type, E-Type. We've got a beautiful Mini, like an Italian job. Yeah. The Italian job Minis, that it was like a special... Oh, what's the word? A limited edition.
Well, there were many. I mean, I know a great friend of mine was heavily involved with the Italian job minis, and a little bit like most people don't know, at the end, the cars that go over the cliff edge are 850 minis, shells made to look like coupes. So the cars changed quite frequently. They are not exactly what you think you see them.
Oh, I love it. Well, these ones were made, I think there was only 1,200 made, but I might have got that wrong. The video's on there somewhere on Frank's Motorcycles on YouTube. If you'd like to give us a subscribe, that'd be amazing, because that's my job, to try and grow it. But yeah, I have made a video of that, and me and the business partner, Will, we took that out, and he was like, I'm 15 again. I was like, what do you mean 15? Because he's a farmer, and he's like, I used to ride these around the fields. He was loving life. And I've actually raced a classic minis as well, which I'm sure we'll get to soon. But yeah, this mini is an Italian job replica or limited edition or something like that.
Well, like a celebration.
Yes, exactly that. So we've got one of those. We've got all sorts of classics in there, and then we've got like a barn find section as well. So we've got a barn find Ferrari, which if it was all done up, would be worth over £100,000.
Yeah.
But as it stands now, it's less than that. But, it's still a beautiful car. And, we've got all sorts in there.
So how many of them do you drive? I mean, do you take the E-Type out?
Yeah, I can take anything out. I'm allowed to do anything. I haven't done the E-Type's video yet.
Yeah.
I'm still working through the inventory because there's loads of bikes to get through first. And then I have done a few cars, and some of those are sold on the back of the videos, which is great because that means that they're working.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gradually getting through the inventory, and I'm sure the E-Type will come. I have driven one before. I've driven two before. I actually wrote an article about the Jag for Jagger enthusiasts.
Yeah. Because you've been on Bangers and Cash, haven't you?
I have been on Bangers and Cash. That was a brilliant thing to do, and it's amazing how long you film for 2 minutes of airtime.
Oh, you've noticed. I used to do TV in France and Germany, and people don't realise that to generate about 3 minutes worth of television, you're at it for about 3 hours.
Oh, yeah, it was a full day's filming, and all I got was 2 minutes. I was like, what is that? They cut out so much stuff, but it was a lot of fun to do. So someone in the MG car club rang me and said, would you want to be on TV? I was like, hell yeah, I'm not shy. Would you talk about your MGTS? Because I've got a little collection of them. And I went, yeah, I will. Everyone knows I'm obsessed with them. I love them.
Yeah.
I've got 3 MGTS, 1 NGF, and a midget. So yeah. I love the MGs. And so he said, yeah. So they gave me the phone number. I phoned up. Oh, we're looking for a female enthusiast. I went, well, you've got the right person.
Yeah.
So we went filming near where I used to live up in Yorkshire in the Swinton estate. And yeah, I was on Bangers and Cash bigging up the MGTF because what they'd done is it was the restoration version of Bangers and Cash. So they got one to do up. And they spent the entire time insulting the MGTF. So they wanted someone to big it up.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And actually, what's really funny is if you type into YouTube, biggest MGTF fan, I think I'm the top search because they made a short of it because I just sat there gushing over the MGTF.
Yeah. I mean, the MGTF is, well, it wasn't at one point a particularly valuable car. You could pick them up for not a lot of money. I think the only thing you had to be careful of was the air intakes because they used to be called the Fish Fryer's Delight because they used to boil their oil.
Well, you're the only person that didn't say head gasket. Everybody says to me, how many head gasket replacements have you done? It's really annoying. If you look after them, the head gaskets are fine, and the K-Series engine is a fantastic engine. And so, if you want to buy one of these cars, which I highly recommend because they are still quite achievable at the moment.
Yeah.
Just get a multi-layer head gasket on there, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. So is it an MGTF you run as an everyday car?
Yes, when it works. Well, since moving down here, everything's been put on the back burner, so my little collection is currently all sold and backed up. And I haven't been able to drive my MG down in sunny Colchester since I moved down here because everything's run out of MOT, and moving down here has cost a fortune. And yeah, as soon as funds are back up, I shall be getting them out.
Right. Now, one thing you mentioned earlier on was racing a classic Mini on a circuit, a proper circuit, not a Autograss circuit. How did that come about?
That came about because a very good friend of mine who I used to race with his daughters in Autograss saw that I wasn't successful in, have you heard of Formula Woman?
Yes.
So I joined this competition called Formula Woman where it's they're encouraging ladies to get into motorsport, into circuit racing. And the prize was a fully funded season. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the absolute dream. I'm going to go for it. So I joined this competition, got through the first round, went to the second round at Anglesey, but I wasn't successful. And so I thought to myself, maybe I can't drive. Maybe I'm no good. Maybe this. And I got really quite down about it and put a post on Facebook saying, I can't believe it. I genuinely thought I was in with a shot. I think it was my age, if I'm honest. I think that they got all younger girls.
Yeah.
And so my friend Steve Hughes got in touch with me and said, look, I'm going to do an all-girls race team for the Mini Grand 24 at Snetterton. Would you like to be in the team? And I was like, oh my gosh, all my Christmases will come at once. This is amazing. Yes, please. And he says, look, as long as you can find this certain amount of money to pay your entry fee, we'll provide the rest.
Yeah.
I highly advise getting sponsored because you're going to need to get all new kit because it needs to be all fireproof, which we don't need for Autograss. Can you do it? And I was like, yes, this is the new dream. I'm going to be on this team. This is incredible. And thanks to him and his belief in me, we got there. I went and did my ARDS test and passed that and got all my gear. I got sponsored, went and bought all new gear, which that's my favourite type of shopping, not going to lie.
Yeah.
And then off we went to Snetterton, and we were in a 4-girl race team, and we had mechanics, we had our own little area in the garage. Oh, the whole experience was just phenomenal. And for that weekend, I was living the dream. It was just incredible. The other thing I didn't like was the night driving, because everyone's got the full beams on and everyone's behind you, so you can't tell where everyone is on the track, and I didn't like that bit. That was the only part I didn't enjoy, was the night driving, but the rest of it was just brilliant. The team was excellent, and we did very well. Out of 8 minis, bearing in mind we are racing the Citroen 2CVs, out of the 8 mini teams, we came 5th.
Right.
And out of 32 cars, so that's minis and Citroen 2CVs, we came 8th.
Right.
And that was 2 out of the 4 of us in our team were first timers.
Yeah.
So we were first timers, and it was all televised, and it was just brilliant. And for that moment, I was like, I've made it. I have truly made it. In the autosport world, I was just like, yeah, this is amazing. But sadly, I just can't afford a circuit.
I would say the problem with it all is money. The only thing that lets you go racing is money. The only thing that makes you go faster is money.
I know, isn't that sad? And I do believe that there's so much talent that gets wasted out there because they just can't afford it. And also I do believe, and this is why I drive stock hatch, that it shouldn't be about how much money you spend. It should be about driving skill and passion.
Yeah.
But sadly, that's not what motorsport's about, is it? It's all about the money.
Now you've done circuit racing, were you able to translate any of your circuit experience into the Autograss?
No, it's completely different. It is the most different, 2 different disciplines you can ever think of. Autograss is racing on mud, and circuit racing, you've got glass for a start, or plastic. You've got a windscreen, like we don't have anything.
Yeah.
And I could have, I was racing in comfort. It was nice, whereas Autograss is very raw and grassroots. And then with circuit, you're travelling in all directions. You're going left and right, whereas in Autograss, I'm just turning right.
Yeah.
With the circuit, because it was like a relay, sort of, you get in and like people are communicating with you as you cross the finish line, like the thing, next lap pit or whatever, and there's communication. There's safety cars out there. There's loads of other people. Whereas Autograss, it's fast and furious, and it's like a few laps and you're done. There's no safety cars. You get the yellow flags and that's it. Oh yeah, and then in circuit, the flags are different as well. So I had a whole new set of flags to learn. Rules, and I was like, it was an incredible experience. I would love to have another go at circuit if only I had the money.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I would love to do if I truly had money, which I don't think will ever happen in my life. I'd like to get into rallying. Now, I have done a rally experience day, and I've got another one to do. My parents very kindly got me a rally school ticket.
Yeah.
So I did that once, and the guy went, "Oh, have you done this before?" I went, "No, never." And I was like, "You're very good." I was like, "Really? Thanks." And I was driving a Subaru Impreza. I was like, "Yay!" It was awesome. And yeah, if I could, I would love to have a go at rallying.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is, in the good old days, back in the 50s and 60s, people used to rally standard cars. And it's something I've said on a regular basis. Take the hubcaps off, fit 3 spotlights, and possibly a couple of stopwatches on the dashboard, and lo and behold, you had a rally car. And that's how people used to go rallying, like the Motoring News and road rallying. They were standard cars. It's all for safety that they've now become proper rally cars with roll cages and everything else. But, I mean, one way into rallying is to learn to navigate.
That is where I would fall apart. I would throw up a lot. What's funny is I totally forgot about this when I spoke to you earlier. I've actually done a road rally, like a 12-car road rally.
Yeah.
I was a standing driver for somebody who was poorly, and I did it in my MGTF, and it was an old battered one, so I didn't really care what happened to it.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible, but, it was a basket case. Anyway, it was road legal, so off I went. Never done it before, never heard of all this 90 right, 20 left, or whatever he was saying to me. I was like, okay, whatever, just go. and I won my class.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. And the people I was racing against, they had an Audi TT, and they came up to me in the pub afterwards, and I went, were you the one driving the MG? I went, yeah, that was me. And they were like, well done, girl. Oh, cheers, love.
I mean, it is an unusual form of rallying, is 12 car, because in the main they are standard road cars, although a lot do fit extra lights, because it tends to be at night time.
Yes, it was. It was a December evening, and it was a wet one. It was very foggy.
Yeah. And, of course, it's a matter of plotting to various points and finding the quickest way. There's no real official route on them, though everybody follows the same route, because there's only one quick way to each point.
Yeah, and what we did, so I did have an experienced navigator with me, otherwise I wouldn't have had a clue. And we had to collect these codes, which was like cut in half registration plate. Yeah,
code board. Yeah, that's one of that's one of the other ones. Will use a big white board with 2 letters written on it.
Okay, well, yeah, that's what we had to do, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, but it was very foggy, so I suppose it was the person with the biggest balls that won it, which happened to be me.
Because, I mean, you're also given a time, like you'll all set off at 8 o'clock, and you've all got to be back by 9 o'clock type of thing.
Yeah, but you can't go under the time as well, it's because you got to stick to the speed limit because you're on public roads.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. It was a really interesting experience, but I did nearly break my car because we Daisy Duked it over a bridge. And I heard this most tremendous bang, and I thought, oh, that's it, we're out. And we landed in a bit of a ditch, and we had to push it out, and we still won it. And I was like, whoa, I'll do that again in a heartbeat.
So it is something you'd do again. I mean, what you need to do is join a car club, a proper car club.
Yes, and what's funny is, because we race Saxos, we've actually got a road-going Saxo, which is track prepped.
Yeah.
So we could use that.
Yeah.
But I care about that one. I don't want to damage it.
But you could use the MGs. I mean, set one aside for it, and there's your 12-car car.
That is such a good idea. I'm going to do that, thank you.
Now, on your video... the one that you suggested I watched, you didn't have a particularly good time. I mean, I'm talking to a racing driver who is on YouTube announcing they're giving up. I mean, how did all that come about?
So what happened is 2 weeks prior to last weekend, it was our Ladies and Juniors Nationals, which is the biggest meet of the year. It's the one that everybody wants to win, and it crowns the champions in each class. I set off in Heat 1, and I won it by quite a distance. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I was up against some seriously quick girls. And in Heat 2, I had a particularly bad roll. I landed on top of another car, which I didn't know I landed on top of another car until I got out of the car. I thought I'd broken a rib. I didn't break it, luckily, but I did pick up an infection because I couldn't breathe properly for about 3 days.
Yeah.
So I went to A&E, got treated for that, and then came back, and I was like, do you know what? I'm not letting it put me off, because in the nine years of racing, I've never had a roll.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I survived. We're all fine. Nothing's broken. The car got mended. Let's go for UK round 4, which was this weekend just gone.
Yeah.
And I went out in Heat 1, and I was leading it. I was like, yeah, woohoo, I've not lost my confidence. Excellent. Don't let it bother you. And then my wheel fell off. So before anyone says anything, of course I checked my nuts. Yes, I torque wrenched them on, but I said it didn't feel right. Somebody else checked them. They said, oh, no, it's fine. Go out. So I went out, and the wheel fell off, and the car dug in it, and I nearly rolled it again. I was like, oh my gosh. And since then, so in Heat 2, I was like, that was horrible. I didn't enjoy that one bit. And I came 5th, which isn't really a normal position for me.
Yeah.
And then in Heat 3, I was like, I don't want to go out. So I let them all go, and I came 6th out of 8.
Yeah.
And I was like, everyone's like, what's up with you? And I was like, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I don't want to do it. Anyway, I had about 2 hours until the final, and I started freaking out. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I genuinely don't want to do it. I've got no desire to get out on track. I'm done. Let's sell up. Let's do something completely different with our lives. I didn't want to do it. And Reese took me to one side, and he said, Helen, this is all you've ever done since I've known you. This is what you do. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Just go out there, go in the final with no expectations, but just go and send it for Nia, who is his daughter. And I got in the car, and I was like, I don't want to do this, and I was shaking, which I never do. And I was like, well, whatever. So I picked grid 5 because I was like not a very good qualifier after my poor heats. I was surprised that grid 5 was actually available. It was the middle of the grid, and I picked it and was like, well, I'll go send it, but I'm not going to do any good. Anyway, I got out the gates, got to the top corner, and I was leading it. I was like, oh my gosh. And it all came flooding back to me. I was like, oh, okay, I'm in front. Okay, don't let them go around you. Don't let them go around you. Make them go around you. And I think we got to about four laps, and then the red flags came out, and I was like, don't red flag it, no, I've got it all to do again, just have to psych myself up. You know, I was doing well, and I don't want to have to do it all over again. I was like, for goodness sake. Now, the thing about Sunday was there was a heavy rain forecast, and we were desperately trying to get through before the rain came, because the track had polish, and rain on polish is impossible. So I said, right, that as soon as we came off, we could hear the tannoy, just old lady stock catch come straight back round for your rerun, got into the holding lanes, and then said, oh, we've just been told that race will stand. I was like, what? Pardon? What? So say that the race results stand. You won it. I was like, oh my God. And that is what, and I felt bad for the other girls, because unless you see the last lap flag, they shouldn't do that. Yeah. But then other people have said, oh, if it's 3/4 of way complete, then they can do that. So that's what they chose. So I became the round 4 ladies stock catch champion, which I was so happy about after the poor effort I put in the heats. So that is definitely what I needed. And now I'm like, I'm back on full throttle, and I can't wait to go again in 2 weeks.
I suppose it's like riding a horse. Somebody once said to me, if horses and I don't get on, the first thing a horse wants to do with me is get shut of me. But somebody said, if you fall off or if you get thrown, what you need to do, provided you haven't been injured, is get straight back onto them.
Yes, and being an equestrian, that is what I've always been taught to. And that is what I said to myself, get straight back on the horse. And that's what I did. I got straight back in the car. But because in Heat 1, the wheel fell off and I nearly went over again, I was like, oh dear. And it really put me off, which I was then gutted about, because I was so psyched up about going racing after the roll, not letting it put me off. And then all of a sudden I was put off by my wheel coming off. Yeah. And it's really weird. It was a really weird feeling, and it just wasn't me. And I was so upset with myself for letting it happen. But then I needed that final, and it happened. And now I just can't wait to go back out.
Now, you mentioned earlier on motorbikes. Are you a biker?
I am a biker, yes. Well, I am, but I had to sell my bike 2 months ago because, life is expensive down south compared to up north. Yeah. And I was looking for a renter for my house, and I hadn't had one at the time. So, sadly, to pay the bills, I needed to sell my bike. But I will get another one. But, yes, I've been a biker for many years. I was a scooter girl before that. I had a Vespa. And then I got my big bike license, and I've been a biker for years and years, and I love it. But racing takes preference over biking, so I did miss it. But because I didn't really get a chance to ride it much, then I just knew that had to be the vehicle that had to go. Sadly. Yeah,
but you've no intentions of racing bikes.
No. No, me and bikes it's pleasure only. There's no racing involved in biking. Yeah. No, you got to go have a completely different set of balls for that.
So, I mean, what are your intentions going forward? It's like you said, you'd like to go rallying, start with the simpler forms of rallying. The Autograss, where do you go from the Autograss? Or do you go up categories or classes or what?
You can choose which class you're in, so I'm more than happy to stay in stock catch. I absolutely love stock catch. I love the girls in it, and there's always new girls coming in. So I don't have any intentions of moving to a different class. It's not like you don't start low and aim high. You choose the class that suits you, and that suits me to the ground. Yeah. We are talking about building a class 4 over the winter, but I don't know. So that's a 1 litre souped up. You can have front or rear wheel drive in those. So there's talk about going into class 4 as well. Yeah. So, because my fella races stock actually, I got him into it, and he's doing really well. But he's like, well, if I build a class 4, you keep your stock catch and we can swap and change. I went, that's a good plan. I'm up for that.
So what will a class 4 car be? Will it be similar to what you're driving with a bigger engine, or a completely different vehicle?
It will be a completely different vehicle. I like the look of the mini pickup. So you can race a mini pickup or like a micro or something, and all the back gets chopped out. Yeah. And then it will be a 1 litre engine, but souped up to the max. Yeah. So you can do a lot of stuff to a class 4, which I'm only learning about. So I suppose I'll learn more if we get one or if we build one, then I'll be able to talk more on Class 4. But yeah, I'm going to have a go at my friend's Class 4 in the Winter Series at Nottingham.
Yeah.
He very kindly said, so, you know, you can have a go. I was like, oh, thank you. So that's a mini pickup and it looks beautiful. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be quite similar.
Do you fancy having a go at rear wheel drive? I mean, you talk to any rally driver and they'll all say, "Oh, it's rear wheel. You've got to drive rear wheel drive. You need a Mark 1 or a Mark 2 Escort, and that's it. Rear wheel drive."
I would love a Mark 1 or Mark 2 Escort. Haven't got the money for that, sadly. But yeah, all my cars are rear wheel drive, which is really interesting. But in the racing world, I've never driven rear wheel drive ever in any of the disciplines except for Autograss. So I think it'd take me a while to get used to racing rear-wheel drive, but I'm not opposed to it. Because I'm quite competitive, I know I'll do badly for about half a year while I get used to it, and I'll just be really annoyed and sack it off.
Are there categories? If you drove a rear-wheel drive, are there categories for them, or would you be up against the front-wheel drives?
No, so there are categories. So there's Class 3 rear-wheel drive, Class 5 rear-wheel drive. You can get Class 4 rear-wheel drive. Class 7 are rear-wheel drive, Class 8, 9 and 10, they're the specials, they're all rear-wheel drive. So yeah, there's plenty of options out there. I haven't fancied having a go because I'm too competitive.
Yeah.
It'd be like going back to the drawing board and learning something completely different. You know, I'd like to have a go eventually, but I'm too competitive at the moment.
Now, if somebody wants to keep a track of what you're up to, how do they get to follow you? I mean, you've a Facebook page, Helen Helly Blake.
Yeah, so that is actually my personal profile, but it's where I do all my posting about my racing. I do have a race page, but I always forget about it, so I'm not very good at keeping track and posting on it. I've also got Instagram, which I'm really rubbish at doing as well. TikTok is something I like to make things out of.
Yeah.
That would be, I think it's Helly YD137, which is my race number.
Yeah.
And then because I work at Frank's now and because I do the content, John said, you know, why don't you put some of your racing in there? You know, people might like to follow your journey. So yeah. I did put a bit of stuff on that as well. I mean, I know it's not about the business, but he said that it's relatable for people. So
yeah.
He said, oh, put that in there. So thank you very much.
So what's the name of, is it Frank's Motorcycles?
Yeah. The name of the YouTube is Frank's Motorcycles. Please give us a subscribe. That would be amazing if anyone's listening to this. Just doesn't cost anything. It's free TV at the end of the day, and as a Yorkshire lass, anything free is good. So yeah, give us a subscribe and follow the journey of Frank's, follow the journey of my racing as and when I can put it on, because I don't want to bore people with it, because it isn't to do with Frank's, but he very kindly said, do it. But yeah, if you want to add me on Facebook, I'm not one of these people that only has people I know. Helen Helly Blake on Facebook, Helen Helly Blake Racing on Instagram and on Facebook, even though I'm really rubbish at updating that. And then on my TikTok as well.
Now, you mentioned them early on. What's your parents' reaction to all this?
They're really quite keen on it. Dad being a petrol head, he likes to talk about technical stuff, and I sort of glaze over, but he does like to talk about technical stuff, and he likes to correct me when I've done something. Oh, you went too wide there, even though he's not a racer himself. He likes to comment on that, bless him. Mum is actually really keen on it. She's like a big supporter of mine. She'll come to any race meet that she can do, as will Dad, and she'll film it, and she'll like to have a little go at commentating on her own videos for me. And then she'll like to comment on everything as well. And she always messages me when she can't go to a race meet. She's like, oh, how are you getting on? And she's really keen on it, which is so lovely, considering neither of them are from a motorsport background. Yeah. But my mum, bless her, the badass that she is, for her 67th birthday this year, I think it's 67, she's going to kill me if it's wrong, she asked if I would send her to stunt driving school.
All right.
So we went to Hereford to a stunt driving school, and she learned, because she's got a classic Mini, she learned how to do handbrake turns, J-turns, parallel parking, and driving on two wheels up a ramp. And I was like, Mum, you're so badass, it was brilliant. So
is it something you fancy a go at?
Oh, I'd love to. It's just money, isn't it? You know, bless her, that was her Christmas present from me, so I spent the money on her. But I'd like to have a go, but I asked for rally school instead, so that's where I'm going. But yeah, I'd like to have a go at that. Because I do sometimes do auto test on my MG, it'd be a good skill to use.
Yeah.
So she auto tested her little Mini at the steam rally last weekend, and she did really well.
Yeah.
She was handbrake turning on her own and everything. I'm like, Mum, I love it. You're so badass. So yeah, I think it's always been there in our blood, but we didn't realise it.
Yeah. Helen Helly Blake, thank you very much for joining me on the Backseat Driver. It's been fascinating chatting to you. I hope it all goes well. I hope you progress through the ranks and are able to start doing some rallying and, shall we say, advance what you do.
Well, I would love that.